In about 10 minutes, a little less, we're going to open it up to questions. So where's the microphone? Anyway, just start lining up. I know you have a lot of questions. Joss, you just got done. Dollhouse has come to an end, unfortunately.
What?
And you produced Dollhouse after being away from television for a while. Now that Dollhouse is over, I mean, how are you feeling about television? Kind of like, what lessons have you learned about sort of what television wants and supports right now?
I don't know why this question sounds a little bit like, well, are you proud of what you did? Well, maybe you should sit in a corner and think about it. That might just be me projecting. It must have been the wrong place. It must have been the wrong time. I really did, I definitely was trying to fit a square peg into a round hole, and we, I think, both benefited from the great square hole of television, the WB, where they were just interested in people like us who had a story we knew how to tell, and they let us do that. That is very rare. It doesn't exist anymore. Literally, the WB doesn't exist anymore. My experiences at Fox have not been successful, and ultimately it is just because there is a certain kind of incompatibility that is very easy to miss. Because I like genre stuff, that's what they wanted. You say the word sexy, sex, they think that's sexy, but can you not mention sex? It's just, I clearly have more of a cable mentality than I realized, and I've been away from television for a while, and I didn't know that. I didn't know how much things had changed. I didn't look at Janet Jackson's nipple, and I didn't know how much trouble it caused. So what I learned was know your audience, and your first audience are the people who are paying you to make the thing. Which is why right now, I'm at Marvel. I'm extremely happy. I'm working with Kevin Feige, and it's a very different experience. This is, Kevin and Jeremy, the two people I work with, the executives, that they're the studio, they're the producers. It's the same entity, and they know what they want. And up front, they're very clear when they don't get it. They know what they want, and that's a great experience. The other one is doing stuff, on the internet, the smaller stuff, where I'm the boss, but I have to call my friend to see if he has any outfits. And both of those are great for different reasons. Television, I love serialized storytelling, but I didn't quite think that one through.
You love serialized storytelling. Is there still a market right now for intensely serialized stories? I mean, Lost is over now, unfortunately, and it seems that as it kind of went out, there seems to be that the TV landscape kind of turned against intensely serialized stories. And do you sense that TV networks are not interested in that kind of format right now?
I think typically they're not. They want shows that can repeat. They want shows, the studios want shows that will syndicate and serialized shows. I'm just personally less naturally interested in non-serialized shows. I enjoy the investment in and the anticipation in the characters and what's going to happen and what conditions are really going on. And, to me, that's the thing that always grabs you. And I think they want it too. They just don't know it. When they talk about stories imply time. Stories imply inevitability and some kind of progress. And so I think that the trick is, and I know that the showrunners on Fringe have been working really hard to kind of maintain an ongoing story, as well as keeping every episode feeling as much as a self-contained thing as possible. But I'm personally drawn to that. This new show that we're doing on NBC Undercover is a show that is much more self-contained, but it naturally will have, and as just as we've been working on the episodes, develop a story that is being told over time. You don't need to watch 1 through 5 to get what's happening in 6. But to me, that's the story that, for whatever reason, I'm naturally drawn to that kind of story.
Joss, did you want to take that question at all?
I think the networks will never, ever ask for that. They will never admit that people want that, because they do see the easy cash cow of the Mentalist. Let's all make the Mentalist. And when Lost first hit and was just blowing up huge and everybody was loving it, we were all so into it, they were still like, we don't want that. that successful Emmy-winning thing, no, yeah, we don't want that. I mean, they would speak against serialized storytelling while it was the only thing people were watching on television, because they're thinking bottom line. It's very weird, because ultimately the serial is always going to be the thing people remember. What do they remember about Cheers? Sam and Diane, not, you know, a great joke from Cheers. They remember that. And so it's, you know, I like both. I like to have some sort of resolve, so I don't feel like I just, you know, I'm still angry about The Empire Strikes Back, okay? That movie doesn't have an ending. It's not okay with me. So, you know, I like to split the diff, but yeah, the progression is what it's all about. Well, it doesn't. He's frozen in carbonite.
Before we open it up to questions, I'd love to know kind of like what's inspiring you guys like right now. We talk a lot about your influences, we talk a lot about your sort of relationship to your past, but like right now, who's doing things that are like you know, inspiring you visually? Who's doing things that's inspiring you in storytelling?
I love Edgar Wright. I just saw Scott Pilgrim.
Yes.
Scott Pilgrim is awesome, and I loved it. And you know, I mean, there are a lot of different people who are doing stuff. You know, Chris Ware, who's an amazing comic artist. So I can't, the stuff he does with time and kind of stopping time and taking you on these tangents. I mean, there's certain people who just blow my mind. You know, but usually I just feel like there are a lot of people. I mean, I could go on with a huge list, but I'd be even more boring, sir.
I'm just gonna say, you know, making the Avengers, that's cool. So I must be awesome. But I'm also watching a lot of stuff, you know, just sort of looking for moods and things. You know, you end up watching a lot of films. And I will say, not inspiring, but I have had actual moments of sheer fucking panic because I love Star Trek so much. I just keep watching it and going, no, I'm sorry, you have to hear this. The time the children knew. I honestly watch it and I go, this is the gold standard for a teen movie, for a summer movie, for any movie that has come out in the last couple of years. Gold standard. And it makes me throw up with fear. So I have to stop watching it.
Okay, we have some questions.
JJ, Joss, welcome. It's good to see you here again.
Of an unreality check. It's a little bit of sort of reminding myself of that bizarre world that I come from. And you do get a sense of what people are responding to and what they're not when they say things like, I hated that thing or that character, and then we sort of, and everybody claps and then we drink and cry alone in a minibar. But mostly it's good. It's totally good. And it just, you know, it's like just returning to ground zero, to home base.
I was very excited and honored when Entertainment Weekly asked us to come to do this. I was excited just to hear Joss and to come and be here, but I'd be here anyway. I love it here. It feels like, you know, the place that you want to go because you see like-minded people, you know, doing things that they love, and genre is my favorite thing. So to be at this place, it's a logical question, but the truth is, I just love being here because I love the stuff here. The people here are, you know, great and spirited and passionate. So it feels like, you know, an odd second home.
Hi, my name is Ben Hampikian, and I'm a young filmmaker and writer. So I was wondering, which do you like to do better, TV shows or movies? And what unique element do you bring to each?
What was the last question?
Did you ask, do they prefer film or television, and what unique quality do they bring to each?
Yes, that is.
Yeah. Let's start with film or television. Like in terms of storytelling, I mean, like you guys are definitely known for long-form storytelling. Is that Does that come more naturally to you, or?
I don't think there's a better. I think it's apples and oranges. What you can do in a movie, what you can accomplish, is so extraordinary and so fulfilling, and you get to be done, which, believe me, is a huge relief. But being able to tell a story over, say, 7 years, or even just 15 episodes, 11 of which they are out of order, is so fulfilling. I sound like such a that's a different kind of fulfillment. It's kind of a slow burn thing, but to me, may, gun to my head, be the greater of the two. And then I really didn't hear that. This sounds like you bring, what quality do I bring? I can't answer that.
Well, one quality that we associate with you, Joss, is just your dialogue. You're just, at what point does that come into your creative process? Is it something that you find over countless drafts, or is it something that just comes very naturally? That's just people talking. I don't write second drafts, really. Obviously you have to, but to an extent, I don't put anything down until it's right. The dialogue is, unfortunately, sometimes I write it before I come up with the plot, and then I have to sort of figure out how to get to it, which is a little awkward. I gotta work on that. But you don't do second drafts? Generally speaking, faster.
I can't. It's amazing. Wow.
I can name at least 6 episodes where it shows.
Next question.
Bad robot. No, not right. My question is obviously for JJ. With Lost, just the way that it ended, was it everything that you expected from the beginning? Without giving anything away, obviously, with spiritually, science-wise, everything. Was it everything? Now looking back on it, is it what you wanted? And it's awesome, by the way. I loved it.
Thank you very much, and awesome impersonation at the outset. First of all, Damon Lindelof, with whom I created the show, and Carlton Cuse ran the show for the 6 seasons, and it was an amazing thing when we first started. Before Carlton was even there, it was like, Damon and I were in this sort of crazy panic, and we wrote this Bible of what it would be, and we wrote a whole bunch of ideas, and you sort of throw out the best ideas, and it's very optimistic, it's a huge leap of faith, and you think this is what this show could be. And a lot of those things ended up being in the series, most of them did not. And over the course of time, thank God Carlton came on board, started to work, with Damon. The two of them I can't describe how brilliant they are. They and the other writers and directors, Jack Bender, they all started working on making this thing what it became. There were ideas that I know in the first season we thought, oh, this will be cool, and this is what it will mean, but you must be fluid and flexible. And even if you have the time to write every episode of every season for 6 seasons, you'd be doing yourself a disservice, because you would not anticipate, and could not, Michael Emerson coming on board for what was supposed to be a couple episodes. And you just realize, oh my God, Ben is critical to this story, as David and Carlton did, and wrote to it. So you have to be sort of dogmatic and know what you want to do, but you also need to be entirely flexible and listen to the show and go where it tells you. And I personally, even though I know there are a lot of people who have dissenting opinions, I personally believe that Damon and Carlton kicked incredible ass and wrote an amazingly emotional episode for the finale that wrapped it up right.